What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so shout out to Dreamers Pro. All right, shout out to Dreamers Pro. I saw his video talking about this particular situation on his platform today. Please subscribe to his platform. So look, recently, LeBron James, I believe, was on the Mind the Game podcast that he now co-hosts with Steve Nash, which, you know, we all knew back when it was announced last March of 2024, I think it was, that he was going to be doing a podcast. At the time, his co-host was JJ Redneck. We all knew that it really was going to just be a self-promotion of himself and him further pushing, I should say, this narrative that has been out there for years. Just damage control, honestly, because if you remember, at that time, right before he announced on that podcast, we were talking about something on social media, and it was something that he didn't want really being pushed on there. If you catch my drift, it was something that was catching fire on social media that Kel Sonny was talking about. Then all of a sudden, it's announced that he's moving, that he's going to start a podcast on social media because he already dominated television with all of his paid Shills. But, you know, social media was another area that he needed to dominate because he didn't like what was being talked about. And by the way, a lot of our channels got affected for talking about said issue. But anyway, he recently was talking about this whole thing about having a bag, right? And of course, having a bag means that you have a go-to move that people, to my offensive players, a go-to move that people can identify you with. You know what I'm saying? LeBron really doesn't have that. He's more of a driver of the basketball. You know, he has improved his outside shot. He has improved his mid-range to a certain extent, but he really utilizes what's left of his explosiveness and his size, right? And he's salty about that. And Carton, right? Craig Carton used to have a show on Fox Sports called The Carton Show, which was canceled, I think, last year. So now he has another show, right? Or at least he's part of another show. And he was talking about how LeBron James is just so insufferable. And because, you know, he's so petty. And he worries about what, you know, people who really shouldn't even matter to him say. Because we know he's very, very insecure. Any person that calls himself the king or has to be addressed as the GOAT, he's a very, very insecure human being. And he also mentioned that LeBron James has a lot of paid shields that he, that Clutch Sports have paid in the media, whether it's content creators, whether it's writers, whether it's higher level beat writers or television personalities. I mean, we were talking about this years ago. on this platform and others. We could figure it out 6-7 years ago that there was these guys. It's funny. Like, people will attack this guy, right, for what he just said, as if what he said is a crime. Like that's when you know. It really reminds me of Trump. Like, I've never seen a person in sports that you can't criticize. Look, I love Michael Jordan as a basketball player, but I'm not going to get on here and bust a gasket if somebody in my comment section says something negative about Michael Jordan. I'm not going to usually react to a person on YouTube if they say something negative about Michael Jordan. Now, if somebody says something about Michael Jordan that's notable, I might do a video where I disagree with the person. Now, if it's a person that just has a history of saying something dumb, like Gilbert Arenas, I might call him an idiot. But if someone thinks that Michael Jordan is not the GOAT, I'm not going to call him an idiot. I've told you this. I've been saying this since at least 2019. LeBron fans are cultish. They're a cult. They're not a fan base of sports. They're a cult. They're weirdos. There's something wrong with them mentally. And he knows that. Their leader, this guy, knows there's something wrong with these guys. The fact that he co-signed on creating a doll for grown men to play with. A doll. He doesn't have a huge female fan base. A doll, ladies and gentlemen. And Lord knows, I don't know what some of you guys did with those dolls. But anyway, yeah, people don't criticize you because, or people are unfair to you, or because we're in our, as he said it, in our basements just trolling them. First of all, I don't troll them. I'm not saying this just for views or shits and giggles. I don't like the fucking dude. I think he's an asshole. I used to be a big fan of this guy until I really saw how much of a piece of shit he is. Fine. If you want to be personally an asshole, that's one thing. But to purposely put out purposely pay individuals to promote this notion that you're better than Michael Jordan. How fucking insecure are you? You can't let people have their own opinion. You have to push propaganda to force people or to influence people to think a certain way. What type of shit is that? That's little dick energy, bro. I'm sorry. I don't like talking like that, but that's the most insecure shit I've ever seen in my life, man. Some people might say it's a power move. No, it's not. It's not power. It's self. That's the most selfish. Lord have mercy, man. And people see right through it. They see it. They know who the people are. Look at fadeawayworld.net today versus how it used to be 6-7 years ago. That used to be a great website. Now it's LeBron James Slurp Central. And they have these guys on there with 37 consonants in their name. These writers I never heard of, who are probably getting paid. I know they're getting paid. They're LeBron fans. And they're there to push this narrative. First of all, whenever he gets criticized in any way, shape, or form, they're apologists for him. I just saw that site, them recycling an article from years ago when Tim Duncan said that he wasn't impressed with Michael Jordan his rookie year, right? Tim Duncan said this shit like 4 or 5 years ago. and they're recycling that article as if he just said it. Most of the articles they push on there are anti-Jordan or critical of Jordan, pro-Lebron, and you see it on other sites. And yeah, if you're ignorant and of low IQ, some of this stuff has some efficacy. But that's why we're here. And he can't stand us. He can't stand us so-called anonymous basement dwelling trolls because we have the nerve to come out here and push the truth. That's how much of a narcissist this guy is. He has to control everything. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it, man. Tell me what you guys think.